Hey there, everybody in the Laughter, Light, and Love community. How are you? Coming to you live today. Hey, I wanted to wish all of you ladies out there a happy International Women's Day. Who knew? I didn't even realize. So I thought it was perfect because I wanted to come on live today anyway. And I'm going to try to do this on Fridays as much as I can. But I saw on TV today that it happened to be International Women's Day, and I thought it was perfect because what was on my heart today was to come on live and just talk with whoever might be on here live, or if you're watching this recording, and just talk about, first of all, our theme for March is We Heart Women. And I thought more specifically, we could talk today about self-doubt. That has come up so many times just this week in my conversations with women. And I know I have been there and I'm still there all the time, even though I have crossed the line of resistance on a lot of things in my life. Little things can creep in our mind and stifle that magnificence that we're all born with. I love to, in my talks, when I go out and speak to women, I love to talk about the magnificence that we're born with. And if you think about that, we are born with such magnificence, and somewhere along the way, that gets tucked away. We may put it in a basement, that magnificence, and just leave it there. And there's a lot of reasons that can happen. But if you look at a little girl and you watch her, she is just dancing like nobody is watching, or singing like nobody's listening. If I stumble on a couple of the videos that I love, I'm sure a lot of you might have seen them on Facebook, of little girls just looking in the mirror and saying how amazing they are. And then somewhere along the way, not all the time, but in a lot of cases with women, we bury that magnificence. And I was about to say I don't know why, but in the process of becoming a certified empowerment coach, I learned a lot. And I've learned a lot from my mentors along the way. And I've learned a lot just by living life and really trying to sort some things out. So, hey, everybody coming on. How are you? It's so good to see you guys. It's funny. We just had a conversation recently about when people are doing Facebook Lives. And it really aggravates some people when they're giving shout outs to the people that are coming on. And I completely get that, because I feel the same way sometimes, because you just want to hear what they're saying. And then there's another way to look at it is, like on a video like today, I want this to be interactive. So I say hey to all of you ladies, but this really does, the idea of this was to serve a purpose, was for me, I don't want to just talk at you. I have some things I definitely want to share. But I also want to make it interactive. So if I get a chance and I can look at the comments and you have a question, or if there's something you want to share, please do that. And later on, if you want to post something in the comments, maybe your story, something that's helped you overcome self-doubt, please share that with us. I am coming to you today with a baseball hat on. I am downstairs in the cubbyhole in our basement. We're setting up for a comedy show tonight. We're having people from our community, friends and family, coming in. And so I want to talk about that at the end of this video, because it really wraps full circle about my story of self-doubt. So, hey, everybody, good morning. If there's anything you want to add, please do, or any questions. But what I wanted to continue with is that thought of burying our magnificence. And one of the things that we end up doing is believing limited beliefs that we have in our life. And one of the reasons that we end up putting that magnificence in the basement, it might come from maybe something that somebody said to you along the way. Maybe it was when you were a little girl. Maybe you were doing something magnificent, or you were really shining, and somebody told you that you shouldn't do that, or that it wasn't great. I really believe that everybody can sing. You may laugh at that, but I really do believe that, and I believe that you can be trained to sing. But somewhere along the way, somebody might have tried singing, for example, and then somebody told them they were terrible, and then they said, oh, I know, you're right, and then they never, ever sang again. And what if that happened to one of the greatest singers that we love today? What if that happened to Celine Dion, and she never became Celine Dion? So we can trust and believe in that voice inside of our head, the limited beliefs. If you're a Christian, it's referred to as the enemy, because when you're magnificent at something, that voice inside of you wants to take you down, because it's only going to spread good in the world. And if that can be stifled or limited, then that's what that voice is trying to do. So I am on here encouraging any of you that have had self-doubt. If there's something that you want to do, you're called to do, just do what you can to make that happen. And I believe that these things, we can't just jump to, oh, I'm over the self-doubt and that's it. And it takes, there's steps sometimes that we need to take, whether it's working with a mentor, talking it out with somebody who has been there. There's some resources I'm going to be referring everybody to on this page. There's a resource I'm going to refer you to today, a book that I read that means so much. But limited beliefs look like phrases like, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. Oh, look at her. She's doing that. She's so great at that. I could never, ever do that. And we say, where did the limited beliefs come from? It can come from society. It can come from somebody in our past. It can come from just ourselves having just an insecurity where we are watching other people and comparing ourselves to other people. So that's what I love to do with women. I love working with women one-on-one. And I just had a client reach out to me, and we were talking about some things, and I just wanted her to know that what we do together is a process, because it isn't like we'll get on the phone. Well, maybe we will, but in some cases we'll get on the phone, and we might have to go backward a few steps. We might have to go back and visit that little girl, if you will, in the basement and find out what's going on, what's creating the limited beliefs. Why is she hiding her magnificence? And it's a journey that we go through, but it's beautiful. And what I can say about that whole journey is it gives so much hope. And I love when women walk away and a light bulb has gone off. And it just makes me teary-eyed when I see them doing things that they didn't think they could do, they didn't believe in themselves to be able to do. So Dana, I see that you have a comment here. It says, Marla, I recently attended an elementary school talent show, and the brave, beautiful performances, I should put my glasses on, I really should, of the young girls brought me to tears. If only we could keep that confidence. Yes. How wonderful, the bravery. Isn't it amazing when you go to a talent show and you see these little kids getting up there and they're just singing. They're doing their thing. And all I can think of is when I see a little girl doing that is I hope she never stops believing. There are just so many things that I have heard my clients say or my friends say that people have said to them. I know somebody who branched out and was trying comedy. And someone that loved them very much said to them, what are you doing? You're not a comedian. I really had to bite my tongue on that one when they were telling me the story. They were telling me the story of them saying that to somebody, and I thought, that person could be the next Robin Williams, because I'll tell you, doing comedy is not easy when you first step out there. It's not. I cannot believe that I'm doing comedy. I really can't. And I want to talk about that in a minute, because it's a good example of crossing that line of resistance and overcoming fear. But it took a long time. So other people can be a part of that. And it may not even be directly related to the one thing that you want to try. There just may be things in your life that have just caused you to feel insecurity or feel not worthy. The worthiness is the number one thing. That's the thing we need to believe about ourselves, ladies, is the worthiness that we have. Trusting. Start telling the truth. Start finding the truth. And you can find the truth in a lot of different places. But if you just seek in your mind what you really believe and you know is the truth, when you feel something in your heart that you want to do so badly, but your own limited beliefs are holding you back, start seeking the real truth. Start seeking, believe what the positive people in your life share with you. You have to also be careful in who you spend your time with. And I like to spend my time with everybody. Everybody. Sometimes there's people in our lives that are kind of that battery drain. But I still want to give time to them. I still want to love them or take a phone call. But I have to limit how much time I can spend, because you can start to drain and wear your own battery out and not even have the energy to try to do something magnificent or to even start spending time alone sorting these things through and listening to the other voices in your mind. So I could really go on about this forever. And this is something that in workshops or talks that I love to elaborate on when I have a little more time. But it's just something to consider today. Start thinking about what is your magnificence? What is that thing? And if you are being called to do something and you're not doing it because of fear, then remember this. I went and listened to a speaker one time, and it was right on the cusp of me feeling being called to do this calling that I had on my heart to do comedy. And I was terrified. I mean, this is a 10-year journey. And I remember I went to a church and the pastor said, he was talking to the whole church, but I felt like he was talking right to me. And he said, if there's something you're being called to do and you're not doing it because you're scared, get over yourself. But he said, it's not about you. It was never about you. It's about the people that it's going to affect. Whose life are you going to affect by branching out and doing that calling? And the contrast of that is, whose life will you never, ever affect if you never do that? Think of the people that you admire. What if they didn't do and take a step out to do what they're doing? You know, we're not born doing what we end up doing. It takes courage and it takes faith. And if you know a lot of comedians I know, when the lights go off and they're off of the stage, there's a lot that they're dealing with in their life. There might be darkness in their life. And they say that comedy stems from tragedy, and they still have to go and deal with those things in their life, but they had courage to step out and do it. And it's what the lives that they affect. Think about the comedians. Think about the darkness that Robin Williams lived with, but think about the joy that he brought to other people, and eventually the limited beliefs and anything else that he was trying to process. And I don't know if he was processing it on his own, but it ended up obviously being his demise. But I hope that he always knew how much he was loved and how much he brought to people. And thank God he had the courage to step out on a stage and bring that to all of us. So I love every single one of you. I really do, whether I've met you or not. I have love in my heart for every woman that crosses this page. I pray that everything you were born to do, the world gets to see. And if you ever have any questions, you can write to me, because I have been on this journey. And if there's anything I can help you with, please let me know, and I'd be happy to help. I want to share this book with you. It's called The Big Leap. I love it. And it's by Gay Hendricks. And this copy is beat up, torn up, and marked up. I love it. But there's a couple things I wanted to share with you with regard to limited beliefs. Oh gosh, no, I am going to need my glasses. Okay, this is a section where he was talking about, whether you're letting the thoughts in your mind control you. And one I wrote down over here in the column, I've written all over this book, but it says comedy. What if I start doing comedy, but I can't maintain it? This was years ago that I wrote this. What if I start doing comedy, but I can't maintain it because I am, quote, flawed? And this also related to me and the notion that was on my heart to become an empowerment coach and an empowerment speaker. What if I start doing all those things, but I can't continue because my mind is reminding me that I am flawed? And by flawed, I wrote down here, meaning I'm not funny every day. I am not empowered every day. I had a shouting match, unfortunately, with my girls yesterday, and I was so upset because I thought that's just not... I know better than that. I know how to do this in an empowered way, but everything all got to me in a moment. And my voice got a little louder than I wanted it to. So I'm not perfect. None of us are. I am not funny every day. I have my comedy set that I write, and it's taken years to write this comedy set. And that came from bursts of inspiration that I then followed with steps in action and then steps in editing. But I am funny a lot of the time. I love to share laughter. I love to communicate with my family with humor. But I am not funny every day. Life is not funny every day. There are days where I am brokenhearted. There are days where it's just not funny. We're out of just whatever it is being a mom. And people look and they may look at me, for example, like I looked at other female comedians and said, "Oh my gosh, look what she's doing. She obviously has a a great life, that everything's perfect, that she can just do this. And I was wrong. That was a limited belief. The other thing that I marked in here in this book, again, it's called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, is, what did I write? Oh, these were some of my, I wrote them down and called them barriers, but they're also limited beliefs. I'm telling you guys, I've been on a 10-year journey doing these callings, and it was a very, very hard process because I felt frustration along the way because I knew I was supposed to do this, but I just could not find the courage. My barriers that I wrote down were feeling flawed. I already mentioned that. The second was the limited belief of disloyalty and abandonment. And what that means is what it says is, what if I do this thing and it really works? We have a bunch of kids. Some of them are younger. What if I feel like I'll be abandoning them because I need to travel? And I do. Now I do travel. After all these years, I travel to go do what I do. I do a lot of it locally, but I do travel. And I realized that was just a limited belief, because what is the worst case scenario? We're always, we have FaceTime. We can talk with our kids. I wouldn't be abandoning anybody because I want to go for my dream. There's nothing wrong with us ladies, with us living out our life with a high volume. There's nothing wrong with that, because you know what I realize? I'm showing my kids how to live my dream, how to step over that line of resistance and face the fear. What I teach my girls more with what I do and having the darn courage to do it is just that. They're hopefully not going to sit back and let their dreams live in a basement because they have people that do count on them. I just had to learn how to balance my life and delegate. And that lesson is what is going to speak volumes to my kids, not the fact that I wasn't here every single day to pick them up from school and every single day to pack their lunch. There's something we have to do, which is teaching our kids independence. And we're not going to be around forever. And to teach them how to, live and function without us. So maybe you have a similar, maybe you don't have kids and there's just a similar, maybe you have parents that are relying on you, or a job. There's ways around it. And what I realized is I was just telling lies to myself, these limited beliefs, these barriers. And that the third was that, two more. One is that if the more success I have, the more burden it's going to bring. Well, that only happens if we let it. I find days where I'm sitting in my office day after day after day, working, writing, talking, planning, and I realize I'm out of balance. And so that bringing a burden is a limited belief that I am placed. It's a self-inflicted limiting belief. And I needed to work with my mentors and learn to tell the real truth. We can do things on a big scale, or we can do them in a small way. What is the magnificence you were born to do? There are rocket scientists, and then there's also the people that are greeters at Walmart because they were meant to be an encourager and they were meant to light up the face of others. There is no variation in a dream. There isn't. I asked my little girl one time what she wanted to be when she grew up, and she said, I didn't know. I either want to be a doctor or I want to work at Subway. And she loves both of those things, because to be a doctor, she could mend broken hearts. But if she works at Subway, she couldn't get enough of how they fold the meat over so methodically. That brought her joy. When was the last time you did something just because it brought you joy and not because you had to? I ask you. Number 4 that I wrote down, oh my gosh, is probably one of the biggest. They're all important, but this one I wrote down is, if you do this thing, if you become a coach, a keynote speaker, and a comedian, what if you appear to others? This is a guilt factor, a limited belief, guilty feeling. What if you do those things and you look like you're trying to outshine others? Or what if you shine? What if you do it really well and there's success? You might make other people feel bad. And I'm here to tell you, and this is a whole other conversation, that is a codependent, people-pleasing, stinking thinking. What if you look righteous? What if you look like you act like you have all the answers? I'm telling you guys, that's why I didn't do this for 10 years. I thought, what if people think I'm righteous. That's why I would not do a Facebook Live. I just started doing Facebook Lives recently because I'm like, what if I get on there and I start offering these moments with the coach, or I go on there and I offer inspiration to women, and people think, who does she think she is? Who was thinking that? Nobody said that to me. That little girl or that younger version of myself, or that third grade version of myself with the unibrow and the buck teeth and the headgear, the one that got beat up on the playground, she was speaking to me. Because it was somewhere on that day on the playground where the kid jumped me and just started, hit me in the head, telling me, you're ugly, you should just die, nobody likes you. That was the person that was speaking to me. I think I left that worthiness on the playground that day and said, and then just put it in the basement. And I realized years later, that boy was just a hurt person hurting another person. And look what he did. For so many years, God was calling me to do these things. And I said, I'm not doing it. And then I made up every lie in the book that I was too busy. And that the truth was I needed to tell the truth. I wasn't that busy. I could write a joke here and there. And the truth is, I wasn't that busy because I was already on the phone with people that I loved, encouraging them and loving them. And it was until a friend of mine one day said, Marlo, she was in tears because we had talked and walked through something together. And she said, Marlo, in tears, she was crying. She said, you need to find a structured way to help women, to coach women, because what you just did for me was life-changing. And that was the beginning of that journey. And it was also the beginning of the journey when God called me to do these things. So here's what I say, ladies, get over yourself. Not you, who you are today, but the person and the voices and the magnificence that you're bearing, get over that. And I don't mean to sound flippant about it, like that can just happen overnight. But it can. You could listen to this video and say, that's it, I'm done, and flip a switch. Or you might need someone to walk through it with you. I do that for women. There's lots of coaches out there that do that for women. Find a mentor, find somebody just a couple levels ahead of you and what you're doing. When I joined the Christian Comedy Association, I flew out, I think it was in Atlanta. I flew out on a whim. I did not know one person. I was terrified. But if I hadn't taken that step, I have met women that are I have their pictures here in the cubbyhole. I've met women there that became my tribe. They were my mentors. They helped show me what I already knew, what my mom was already telling me, what my family was already telling me, that I was funny. They helped me see that. They helped me tell the truth. They helped me structure jokes. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today. I didn't do it alone. So find your tribe. Be careful who you're listening to. Be careful where you're putting your energy. Be careful burying that little girl version of yourself. And I say little girl, I mean your elementary school girl, the girl in your 20s, the girl in your 30s, the girl yesterday that was trying to tell you something. Reintroduce yourself to her. We are like an onion. I guess I'm hungry because I'm talking about food. But we are like an onion, and in the core of the onion is the real truth. And sometimes we have to peel back layers of the limited beliefs and the things that we're trusting and get to it. A couple things I want to end on is, I am getting ready for this cubbyhole event tonight. We have people come into our basement that, I'll swing around here with the camera and show you in a minute, but I don't want to distract right now. God put it on my heart 4 years ago to build the space in our basement. 4 years ago. And we came down and built the structure, but then I turned off the lights and never came back. Until this summer, I was sitting in my gravity chair where I sit every morning, and I spend time with God, and the sprinklers were going, the sun was shining on me, and I felt God say, it's time. And I came in the house and I had, just to backtrack a little, the reason I shut off the lights and didn't come back to it for so many years is I was just scared. How is that going to work? What's it going to look like? Who's going to do it? Where are we going to find the money to do it? Who's going to show up? And I gave that all to God sitting there in the chair, and I felt I don't hear his voice. I don't know what his voice sounds like, but I know how it feels when I feel it. And I felt him say to me, it's time. It's time. Just trust me. Go. And I came in the house and I was ugly crying and, the stuff coming out of my nose and all that good stuff. And David said, honey, what's wrong? And I said, nothing. I'm so happy. And he's like, you don't look happy. I'm like, I am. Because I know without a doubt this is what I need to do. And I need to know that you're okay with this. And within a month, we had somebody come in and build this space. And within a month, we had our first show. And I have been blessed because my friends from the Christian Comedy Association followed my journey on Facebook, and they want to come here and experience the cubbyhole. And our very first comedian, his name was Leland Clausen. It still is. His name is Leland Clausen. And he wanted to be the first one down here and experience this. The guy does events in auditoriums, sold out crowds, and he wanted to be here. And I was teary-eyed at that first show because I just stood around and looked and said, wow. And this cubbyhole is going to be a ripple effect. And I'm going to talk about that tonight. We're going to be helping some people in a lot of really cool ways because of this space. But the whole point is, what if I didn't take that leap of faith? What if I had that self-doubt just eat me alive? What if I did that? People write me and text me after their experience here at the cubbyhole, and they're moved to tears. What if I didn't do that? What if my mentors never took the chance and I didn't get to learn from them? What if? That saying, you should. I should do that. I should do that. And Tara and I talked about it last week in our interview. We need to quit shoulding all over ourselves. We need to do it. So the other thing is, I am coming to you with a baseball hat. This is actually how I am every day. And the limited belief in my brain said, you need to go upstairs and you need to get ready because people aren't going to trust you as an empowerment coach or want to hire you as a keynote speaker if you're down there in your baseball hat. I would have done that years ago. I would not have come on here in a baseball hat because of the people-pleasing tendencies that I have to think. And I realize that is a limited belief. People are going to see me how I am. This is how I am. I don't even have my eyelashes on yet. I'm putting them on because I have a show tonight and that's just what I do. But I would never have come on here without, I don't have makeup. I don't have my makeup on. I would have never done that. I think my cousin's probably going to be on here eventually. My cousin Andrea, my girlfriends from my younger years, they would have never, no. More makeup, the better. Because I was hiding behind that. But I was choosing the wrong, quote, foundation, if you will, or the wrong cover-up. I trust my faith. I trust who I am. And that has been a journey, trust me. For anybody that knows me and knew me years ago, that's been a journey. I've had to learn to love myself, to be okay with reminding myself that I am worthy. We are all worthy and beautiful. And I don't want you ladies to forget that. And I hope that you found this encouraging today. I really do love every single one of you. If there's something that you need someone to walk through with you, just call me. I'm going to sing this song. It just occurred to me. And this is what we all need to do for each other. And it's perfect for International Women's Day. Sing it with me wherever you are. Ready? Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If you have self-doubt, find someone that really, really loves you and someone that you really, really trust. And start telling the truth about yourself, ladies. Okay, I just want to show you real quick. This is the cubbyhole. This is the space. I'm setting up chairs. And this is what it looks like. And this whole space, there's the vacuum. And you know what? Before I'd have been like, I got to put the vacuum and the garbage bag away before I show anybody this space. But I don't care because it's perfection down here. We are perfection with our imperfection. And that's all I want to leave you guys with. Love you all. Thank you for joining. And I am sorry if I missed anybody's comments. I'm just going to look real quick. I just love seeing all your names on there, and I'm happy that a lot of you get to catch this on the replay that aren't on live. Dana, thank you for sharing that story. Girls, it is time to shine. It is time to shine. It is time to shine. I love you all. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.